G'day, I'm Adam. I'm at Manilla, New South Wales at Godfrey's Manilla paragliding. This is how you fly with the eagles. I've got my Explorer harness, which is the 110cc 2-stroke with a carbon fibre prop on the back of the harness. I'm using a Malibu 188 hang glider. Conditions are really good. There's a light breeze coming down the runway. I'm about to warm up the motor, get some fuel going through the airline to get rid of the air out of the fuel line. I put in a radio call to any other aircraft around, let them know that I'm about to launch. Just going to take a few deep breaths, relax, think about what I'm going to do. I'm going to need a really good strong hard run, keep the wings level, get down on the base bar as soon as I can. Should be some good wind gradient as I launch off the ground into the stronger wind. Here we go. Rightio, I'm off. I've got the accelerator in my mouth, it's like a peg. I've got it on flat out. I need to get away from the ground as soon as possible. Allow me enough time to turn back around if the motor goes out. The first 50, 100 feet are pretty critical. But it looks like I've got enough height at the moment, and I'll start to turn back down the runway. There are some good thermals. I can feel it in the glider already. It's not completely smooth air. Everything seems to be going good so far. And it's just a matter now of gaining some altitude and find a thermal. The motor's really loud, so it's a little bit hard to hear the flight instrument when I go through the lift. So it's all about feeling at the moment. What I'll do is I'll take the accelerator out of my mouth and put it on the base bar, and I'll relax a little bit. I could zip up the harness and pull the legs up, but at the moment I'd prefer to leave them down and just concentrate on gaining at least 1,000 feet in case I have to land straight away. If the motor goes out, I won't have to worry about putting the legs back down in a hurry. It is a little bit bumpy, the air, but you have to expect that after taking off after lunchtime. It's coming into the most active part of the day, but that's what I'm after. I'm searching for a thermal at the moment. I'm looking for some lift that's going to take me up even quicker, and I can turn the motor off, which is way more better and more comfortable, and not so much of a high attitude angle when you're flying, and it's a lot quieter. I'm looking at my flight instrument now to see what the lift was. It felt like I just went through a thermal then, but it wasn't a very strong one, so I decided to just keep flying on and look for a stronger one. You know when you go through a good thermal because the glider pitches up pretty steeply. There we go, there's a bit of a bump there. I'll turn back towards that. That tried to push me away to the left, so the thermal's on the right. Looking at my instrument now to see how much lift that's given me. I think that was around 300 or 400 feet per minute. That'd be good to get anything over 500. It's over to the right, it's back there. Constantly looking around for the eagle. Normally this time of day the eagles are getting up in the thermals, so you just follow the eagles and you go up in the strong lift that they're flying in. Okay, just backed off there and check out what sort of lift we're getting there with the motor idling. Looks like I've flown into a better thermal now. Seems like I'm maintaining without the acceleration. Probably didn't need to adjust the camera, it seemed alright already. Maybe I'm going to just fly on and look for a stronger thermal. Little bit fiddly, that thing. Definitely some sort of thermal there. I can just hear the Vario bipping with the motor idling. But I'm pretty sure I can find a stronger thermal than that one. It's a good sign, but that there are good thermals around. Just need to fly into a really big, strong one. Okay, that's in a good, comfy position. Started to relax a little bit more now. I could probably zip the legs up. I might just see if they pull up, and if it zips down, and pull it back up again. Whoop. Here we go, zip it up. We sort of half zipped up. Still haven't found that strong thermal yet. It's a pretty good harness, that Explorer harness. You can go hang gliding, you don't need to go up to the top of the hill, and you don't need a driver to come pick you up. You can fly around and come and land back where you took off. You just need a pretty clear spot with not many obstacles to take off from and to land. You do need in Australia, you need a motor endorsement with your hang gliding license to fly with the motor. You need a VHF radio endorsement. Part of that endorsement is cross-country navigation and knowing how to read maps and airspace, etc. So there is no limitation on how far you can fly. You know, because I'm going to turn the motor off and thermal. Which I'll just about say, we're going to fly into a pretty good thermal pretty soon. I can feel it in the air. The glider's not quite that stable. We're in a little bit of rough air. It's a good indication there's a really strong thermal ahead. Yep, here we go. No better feeling than flying into a strong thermal with the accelerator flat out. And you look at your flight instrument, you got 1,000 feet a minute up. Here we go. I think that's it. Yep. Well, I think I could just about turn this motor off now. Just going to fly through the thermal until I get to the other side of it and then turn around and fly back into it. Just going to check out how wide the thermal is. Which that was a pretty big thermal. So massive thermal. Just a little rundown on where I've been the last couple of years since this flight got diagnosed with throat cancer. Anyway, I did the surgery and the chemo and the radiation. It's been a couple of years, but I'm back flying again and I'm surfing, and it looks like I'm going to beat it. I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button, and I'll be able to bring you a lot more great videos like this and do some more flying. Thanks. Okay, I think that was the other side, which then that is a really big thermal back there. I'm going to slowly turn to the left, I think, and fly back into it, which I'd say that was like a really big thermal. I'm pretty sure I could just about turn the motor off now. I'm definitely going to go up. That's Mt Borah just to the, in the view there. It's where they have the state titles for hang gliding, and they do the state of origin paragliding competition. I think March is when they do the hang gliding state titles. You get probably 60 pilots taking off the takeoff on the top of the mountain there, doing cross-country flights anywhere up to 100, 200, even 300 kilometre cross-country flights. Race comps go for a week. There's 1,000 points for first place every day. At the end of the week, the person with the most points wins the state titles, normally gets into the Australian hang gliding team to go and compete for the World Championships. There is no race with the motor harness. Most of the hang gliding is just without a motor, just relying on the thermals. I think I'm just enjoying flying in a thermal with the motor. Probably, I don't know, maybe 2,500 feet at the moment above the ground. I'm pretty sure this flight I got up to about 7,000 feet. Well, pretty much over 5,000 feet, no problem. But most of the height I gained was without the motor on, so pretty sure I'm going to kill the motor in a sec. Now, can I see any eagles? Righto, I think I just found the core of the thermal. Really good lift right there. We're just going to stay in that really strong part of the thermal and slowly circle around there. There's a brake for the prop to stop it spinning. It'll just keep spinning by itself with the wind. But if I can pull the brake on, the prop will fold up into a more of a streamlined position. Not so much drag. You just need to hold it's like a cable brake, so you need to hold it on until it stops spinning. It's a little bit. There you go, I've got a little kill switch in my parachute that I can push with my finger and kills the motor. The little switch is there in the parachute, so if I throw my parachute, the motor switches off as well. So now I've pulled the brake and I've stopped the propeller from spinning. Now I'm just free flying. Just like I'm hang gliding without a motor. That's the beautiful thing about that Explorer harness is once you find a good thermal, you can turn it all off and you don't even realise you've got a motor with a fuel tank and all the extra weight. It's still classed as a hang glider as long as it doesn't have wheels on the harness, and the glider and the harness is under 70 kilos without the pilot and fuel. It's still classed as a hang glider. So if it was over the 70 kilos, it would go into a different category as like a microlight aircraft that would need registration. So because it's still a hang glider, it doesn't need to be registered, and it doesn't need a transponder. I just need a VHF radio to talk to the other planes and pilots. So this is a really good thermal at the moment. I think I'm getting 500-600 feet a minute on that thermal. So we're going to climb out. I'm pretty sure the Eagle's going to come and see me thermaling without the motor, and he'll fly over and start a thermal with me at the same time. So keep your eyes open for an Eagle. Hopefully he won't swoop and try and attack my wing. He's a friendly one. Pretty sure I'm starting to think this is a pretty good day. I've got pretty good lift. Hopefully I'll be able to find some air that's going back down to get back down to the ground, because was just going to go and fly for an hour or so, so I hope I'm not boring everyone just flying around. But it's such a great view when you get up this high. You can see all the way in all directions. You can see back to Tamworth, you can see all the way up Mount Capitar. That's the mountain range, Mt Borah there. Capitar's in the background. Further back down that direction there is, you can see Corindai, Marindai, Mirawa, Tamworth. Back around this way, it's the Northern Tablelands. Back up towards Thunderbolt Way, Armadale, all those areas there. So it's a cracker of a day. I can see a long way today. It would be a great day to do a cross-country flight in just your hang glider without the motor. But I'm just going to go exploring gods, is what I call it. You know, I'm flying above Godfrey's paragliding school. I'm pretty sure everywhere I fly at the moment now I'm going up in air's all going up, so it's not like I have to really look for a thermal. Everywhere's lifting air. It's one big giant thermal above Godfrey's at the moment. You can normally tell when you're getting up towards the cloud base as the lower clouds start to become level with the horizon, which I'm pretty sure we're starting to get up towards the lower clouds. Normally with the visual flight rules, anywhere over 3,000 feet above ground level, you need to keep a separation of 1,000 feet below or above the cloud, and 1,500 metres horizontally from the clouds. We always keep that in mind when you're flying. And I suppose another thing also is you do need a flight instrument when you're flying, so you know how high you are. We're not allowed to fly over 10,000 feet Well, we can go higher, but anywhere over 12,500 you need to have oxygen. And a parachute, really. Plus that VHF radio. So we're just climbing, I think, pretty well, getting close. Maybe 5,000 feet now. There's the eagle there. Did you see him? I'll turn to the left and try and follow him. He's pretty quick. I don't know, he's behind the wing there. I knew I'd see the eagle today. Well, I can tick that off my list. I'm going to keep circling and see if I can keep up with him, but they're pretty quick. You know, this glider's a floater glider, so it doesn't have the performance as a race glider. And you try and fly too fast and you lose altitude pretty quickly. It's called a floater glider. They just like to float around. So that was cool. I think I've lost him. I can't see him anymore. But anyway, flying with the eagles again. That was awesome. Thanks for hanging in there. Okay, I know plan B is try and find some air that's going back down so I can get back down. Enjoy my afternoon with my son. Back at the camp spot at Godfrey's. It's only $10 a night to camp there. I think that's what I'm thinking now. But the size of that thermal, I'd say it's not going to be easy getting back down to the ground. Normally you just keep flying until it gets later in the evening, you know, before it gets dark and the air will start to come back down. But I'll search for some air that's sinking. Normally when the air's lifting around the sides of it, there's sinking air. So once you find the sinking air, you circle in that and it will bring you back down to the ground. The worst thing you can do is panic. Try and fly down in the upper air, which will use up all your energy and stress you out. The better option is to just fly away until you find sink, and your flight instrument will tell you when you've got sinking air. So it's starting to get a little bit rough. I think I've reached the upper level and probably not as comfortable as it was as I was climbing up. There could be an upper wind level. Pretty sure we're getting pretty close to the top of the clouds. Well, yeah, we're nearly there. It's been an interesting flight so far. It's been a good one. Nothing like the sound of the air blowing across your face without the motor going. Probably just check my legs, make sure that they're going to drop down. Got plenty of height. There we go. I'll just have a little test with the legs. Zip it back up again. That looks all good. Like I'm going to have it easy. Drop the landing gear for landing. Pretty sure I've made my mind up. I think I'm going to look for some sinking air and get back down to the ground, which will be an adventure in its own on a good lifty afternoon. little bit of time to get back down to the ground. Got plenty of height. So I suppose I was just going to put a little bit of music on, and if you want to see the landing, you can always just fast forward to the landing at the end. But I won't cut any of the flight. I'll put the whole flight on. You get the full experience. Pretty sure my mouth's pretty dry now, and I can already taste the beer back down at Godfrey's, and thinking about swimming in his swimming pool. I've got the tent set up near the car. I'm going to land the glider right next to the tent. Grab a beer out of the fridge in his little kitchen that they have for the campers, with all the cooking stoves and gear. It's probably one of the best spots in Australia where you can go hang gliding or paragliding. You get to camp down there. It's got a beautiful clubhouse with a bar and food. And the mountain out the back with the road up the top, it's just an epic place to go hang gliding. Anyone coming to Australia, any pilots, bring your paragliders, bring all your hang gliders, or you could probably get a hang glider from Moyes factory when you get here. And make sure you go to Mt Borah at Manilla. So anyway, I'll just put on some music, and if you want to hang around, just watch the rest of the flight. I'm going to be looking for some sinking air going down. Eventually I'll find some. It'll be a quick way back down to the ground. So thanks for hanging in there all this time, just to see that one eagle. I'm pretty sure there'd be other ones around, but that was pretty close. He was actually flapped his wings to get away, so we were sort of on a bit of a collision there for a minute. So anyway, once again, thanks. Hit that subscribe if you haven't hit it. It's normally about times like this in the flight when you start to think, God, thanks. Thanks for the good flight. And get me back down to the ground safe. There's something about the solitude of just flying by yourself. What I just did then was I just held up a few fingers in front of my face, and you look at how many fingers are between the horizon and the top of the mountain in front of me. It seems like I'm flying into a headwind, and it'll give you an indication whether you're going to make it over the hill or not. If you need, if you can't fit the fingers between the horizon and the top of the hill, it means you're not going to make it over the top. But if you can maintain how many fingers there are between the horizon and the top of the hill, you should be able to glide across the top of the hill. So just trying that one out a little bit. It looks like the headwind's coming over the mountain range. So probably my best bet to find some lift will be behind the mountain range where that shadow is. So I think I'm just going to fly over there, and eventually I should find some sink on the lee side of the hill there. Once I find the sink, I'll be able to circle down below the lift, or beside the lift and down. But it definitely feels like I'm not coming down. In hindsight, probably should have flown over Manilla, the town, and lost my height doing that, leaving myself enough height to get back to Godfrey's. I think I was just practicing looking for some sink, using the sink to get back down to the ground. You know, some days you need to get away from the cloud or the storm or the weather that's approaching, rain or whatever, so it's good to practice all the different techniques that you use when you go flying. You never ever stop learning how to fly when you fly a hang glider. Every day is different. But yeah, definitely coming down. I think I found some sink here. I'm just going to circle in the descending air. But either way, it's been a good flight. Here we go. It'll just be a slow descent down now in the down air. What a top day to go flying. If you look at the level on the fuel tank, how much fuel I've used for this flight, I don't think I've used very much at all. I don't need to start the motor again. I don't need the motor to land. All I need to do is put those legs down, make sure they're deployed properly, and it'll just be a nice landing back at Godfrey's. Basically, I could have flown to Mt Borah, I could have gone to Narrabri, could have flown to Borah, Manilla, Baraba, Bingara, Morialda. Any of those places could have been a flight plan for today. But my plan was just take off, fly with an eagle, and go and land near the tent. And get to enjoy the sky by myself, pretty much. I haven't seen another pilot all day, which is unusual. I can't even see the pilots down on the hill. I think they all left early this morning, about probably lunchtime, 11 or 12 o'clock they took off, and they all headed north. I think the wind's southwest, west-southwest. So yeah, it's been a good day. I wonder what Josh is doing down at the camp. There you go, drop the legs down now. Got me landing gear down. Would have been a really good day just to fly all the way up to Borah without the motor in the high performance fighter. Pretty sure that's the Moyes River down there. Take you all the way to Walgett. Maybe that can be the next flight I do. Follow the river to Walgett. I'm going to try some bigger turns, get the glider sideways and get it to drop out of the sky a little bit more. Sort of getting sick of trying to just float down. Practice some spiral turns down. Which it's a little bit different doing that type of flying with the extra weight in the motor. So I always fly on the cautious side. watching. Don't leave because I'm about to land and it's a really good one. You'll really like it. Thanks for watching. See with the motorised harness and you're thinking of getting into it, I'd recommend getting in contact with Rowan from Dynamic Flight, or even get on his website and have a look at a lot of the stuff you can read about motorised hang gliding, foot launched. If you're ever down in Victoria, you could pop in. I'm sure he'd help you out through his club to get the motor endorsement. Don't forget to check out some of my other movies, some hang gliding at Crackneck, and I'll be putting some more movies up shortly about open mining and some surfing. Awesome, found that sinking air. I'm just gonna spiral my way down. Can taste that cold beer already. Woohoo! Down we go. Oh, I'm hanging to get down to the ground. Stretch those legs. No, I think I just went into another thermal. No, only kidding. We're going to get down eventually. Talk about living the dream. Where else would you want to be? If you've managed to watch the whole of this video so far and you've never been hang gliding, I recommend go and find an instructor and learn. It's such a great sport. Such a great feeling. There's Godfrey's joint down there. Put on a little bit of speed there. In the floater glider you fly fast like that and it wants to come down real quick. Should be down on the ground any moment soon. Set up my landing nicely. Special thanks to the custodians of the land, past, present and future. Give them a little hoot, let them know I'm landing. You never know, someone might be filming. There's Godfrey's. I'm just going to fly over his house, do a left-hand turn. Well, actually, there's his pool there. And a beautiful landing right near the clubhouse for a cold beer. Thanks for coming, everyone. Asked Josh to bring the keel over for the glider and hold the front of the glider. Normally I'd have a rope with a peg and I can tie the front of the glider so I can get out without holding the glider. You know, it's got no keel at the back and the motor's there. Special thanks to Josh, my son, for helping, Godfrey, Vicky from Moyes Hang Gliders. Once again, thanks everyone for watching. Hit the likes button if you like that flight. Leave us a message. Let me know what you thought of the flight. And if you've got any questions, just feel free to ask in the comment section. Happy flying everyone, and fly safe.